Euphoria.
Welcome back, my friends, to the In Obscuria podcast, a podcast where we exhume obscure rock and punk and metal, and we put them in one of three categories: the lost, the forgotten, or the should-have-beens. My name is Squeaky Kevin. That guy over there, Robert Harrison.
And that dog on the other side of the studio is Ronnie James DOG with a squeaky ball that he found under the couch.
So if you hear extra squeaks...
Yeah, and he won't stop squeaking. I'm going to have to go
take
it away from him here. If it doesn't stop. Usually he gets tired, but he only does it when we're recording. Like the ball sits there all week long, and then while we record, he's like, oh, now I got to be a jackass. He takes after his own.
Now he's attacking
now
his
he's
bed.
going to shred the blanket, yes. He's got to put on his own show.
We should really do a YouTube show and just have it focused on him.
Yeah, the camera just focuses on him, not us. He's the entertainment, really. But what you're missing the show that he puts on by himself in the corner.
He'll be out asleep in 2 minutes.
I hope. Nope. He's done.
All right. Well, Robert, what is going on? You have not been giving us a whole lot lately as far as amusements within your world of your life.
Yeah, I'm sorry that I'm just being normal lately. It's
been
just
very normal.
It happens once in a while. I got to pretend that I'm just like everybody else and go to work and things like that. It sucks.
And this week's the same?
Yeah. I mean, I didn't do anything today. I kind of screwed around all day long. In fact, I went to work for 30 minutes.
Oh, for fuck's sake. Honest to God, it boils my piss.
And then came back home and was
nice.
That was it. I was done. I had to measure something and went, okay, that was a good day's work right there. I feel productive, and came home and sat in the AC because today it was hot.
And now let's kick it back on over to
Robert Harrison
for our 5-day weather forecast.
Robert.
It's summer's here in Atlanta, Georgia. We've hit like 89 degrees today. I'm like, yeah, all right, we're good to go.
Yeah, I was inside, so I have no idea.
Oh, it was toasty outside. I walked across the street, had dinner. Everybody's out and about. It's a great time of year to be here in our little hamlet of Smyrna, Georgia.
Is it a hamlet?
It's a little hamlet.
Oh,
yeah, it's
I don't
like
know
a village.
What makes a hamlet?
I don't know. We're technically a city, but we're in name only.
Hamlet sounds better.
Yeah, we have a city hall, so I guess we're technically a city.
Check out the big brain on
Robert.
You're a smart motherfucker. That's right.
We have a little downtown area. We got shops and restaurants. I went and had some dinner and a beer, and then walked out and saw somebody I knew. So stopped and talked to them, and then walked about 5 more steps and saw somebody else I knew and had to have a conversation with them. And took like an hour to get home, which I live across the street, and that took an hour to get home.
Nice. Any reason? I've got my hand located near a button. Is there any reason?
I teased it last week.
You did.
We got to pay off tonight. Hit the button.
Oh,
man.
yeah.
That's right, Munchketeers. It's time to get your grub on with the chef that can give it to you funky style.
Robert, God not eating. That's right now, Robert, God not eating. Wow!
So I think we've talked about it before.
Squeak, squeak, squeak.
He lost it in the blanket for about 2 minutes, and so that's why it went quiet. But then he just found it again, so ignore the squeak. But I think we've discussed my problem that I had back in my, it was maybe early 30s, that I think you had to have an intervention with me.
The blue pill solved it, though, right?
Different problem.
Oh, okay.
No, I have not reached that old level in life, thank God.
Which problem are we talking about?
I still have my hair. I'm not overweight, and I don't have the little blue pill problem. So I'm doing pretty well.
Okay,
I got other problems, but not that problem. So one of the problems I did to myself mostly, so it was some genetics, but also my bad behavior, is I got the beatus. The diabetes.
Oh, you did get that.
Yeah, I got that about,
That's
what is that now, 9 years ago, maybe? 8 or 9 years ago, it kind of showed up.
Because you used to have sort of a Mountain Dew habit.
That and cookie dough.
Cookie dough and Mountain Dew.
Yeah, well, I would wash the cookie dough down with Mountain Dew. That makes me nauseous now, thinking about that. I did that. Yeah, as you drink an energy drink. Shut the hell up, you
But my energy drink is all natural.
bullshit.
It's all natural.
Well, there's no energy in it then.
We'll see. We'll see if I get energized.
Sugar, man. Sugar's natural.
You know, the last time I had 2 energy drinks, like the nasty ones.
Oh, yeah.
I got belligerent. So we'll see what happens.
With whom?
At work.
Oh, I was going to say, it definitely wasn't with your wife. I know better.
No.
I know better.
No, my ass wouldn't be here. if
Yeah,
that
exactly. I'd be picking you up off the side of the road.
No. I got all...
She knows where to hide bodies.
Apparently, I got all fussy in a meeting.
Did you?
And a coworker called me out after the meeting. She's like, "Hey,
What's wrong with you?
And
what do you mean?" She's like, "You're agitated and you were yelling." And I was like, "I did? Well, I did have 2 of these energy drinks." She's like, "Yeah, don't do that.
Don't do that again. And for those of you listening at home that may not have met Kevin in person, he's one of the most mild-mannered people I know. And in 25-something years, I've only seen him kind of lose his cool a little bit. Me, on the other hand, it's every 5 hours that I'll find something to be upset about. But it passes quickly. It's not like I'd stew about it. I'll lose my cool with something. But he's usually let's just say, he's got his shit together. Where I'm the one that's all over the map.
I have you fooled very well, sir."
Right. You keep it in.
That's right.
You push it way down.
I found that if you internalize everything, it's better for you.
Bottle it up, man.
Yeah.
Just keep that lid on. My lid pops off once in a while. It's not screwed on very tight, so I need a better system. But yeah, so the cookie dough thing, I'd thought about that, and I was like,
Okay, so this is where you're going. You're going back to cookie dough.
Yeah, so I'm not necessarily regressing to bad habits because I know better. I'm trying to be healthy, but I get a sweet tooth once in a while, mainly about 9:45, 10 o'clock at night, and I have a little sweet tooth. And so I've been looking for things to kind of satisfy that aren't going to kill me. And I came across this idea of healthy, and I'm using air quotes. Oh, he's coming closer now with a squeak toy. Oh,
he drops the ball.
You dropped the ball, man. Pick that up. He came closer and stands next to the microphone and squeaks the toy now.
Yeah.
So anyway, I'm using air quotes when I say healthy. It's healthy-ish cookie dough. And I made healthy-ish cookie dough. And I'll be damned, it's high protein, low sugar.
Okay.
And tastes like 86% as good as regular cookie dough. And it's not going to kill me.
You think?
I think it's not going to kill me. But it's only got a few ingredients, and they're not bad. None of them are, have Mountain
Is this
Dew.
kind of like the ice cream that you did a while back with the bananas and the
Yeah, it's kind of like that. It's like alternative ingredients.
A substitute.
Substitute. Yeah, I'm not trying, and you don't bake it. This is made to be eaten raw. This is not made to make cookies like regular cookie dough. So it's just, you make it a little bit at a time. I keep it in the freezer, and if I get a sweet tooth, go to a couple of spoonfuls of that. It tastes like ice cream and cookie dough mixed together.
All right, lay it on us. What is it?
It's damn good.
What is it?
It's cookie dough.
What the hell did you just say?
I know, but
Oh, you mean the ingredients?
it is. You have to give that up.
It is almond flour.
Where's my sample? I don't even see a plate here.
You just give it to Dio. It's in the freezer. I forgot to thaw it out. So I'll give you a sample later. You can taste it later.
All right.
But it's peanut butter cookie dough. It's got peanut butter powder in it. It's got almond flour. It's got, and cottage cheese. That's the curveball.
Okay, that's what gives it the consistency, I assume.
Exactly. But you think cottage cheese
You don't
like
taste it, though.
No. Once you put it in,
I like cottage cheese, actually. I don't have a problem with
I'm starting to learn to like it because I can eat a lot of it. It doesn't register at all on the digestive scale. Like there's nothing bad in it. It's just air and whatever it is, curd, something. Who knows? I don't care. It's the fat-free stuff. It's not the full high-octane stuff. So this is a breakthrough, man. I made something. The Reese's
It sounds
Easter
marketable.
eggs.
Oh my God, those
Those were good.
I ate all of them. I didn't give a single one to my family.
Kevin, I'm going to bring some over to your house and drop them off for
I
your
took
family.
them home and I put them on the counter and I was like, nope, not going to happen. And I put them in my office.
Those were pretty well received, so I had to kind of step it up. I'm like, okay, I'm going down this road of kind of substitute sweets that are not as horrible as the stuff I used to eat, and I think I've got 2 now in the bank, and I'll get you a sample for you.
And you did the ice cream, a couple years ago.
I forgot about that. Yeah, that was good. That was a little more work, but yeah, it's basically just bananas and flavoring, and you freeze it, and then you've got the consistency. healthy. So I'm trying, man. I'm trying to be healthy.
Look at you.
But I got bored with the entrees, like the healthy dinners. Fine, I can cook a healthy dinner. It's the dessert that's the challenging one because
Like you said, I get the same thing at night. It kind of hits you like, I could use something just
it's not a huge bowl of it.
You just need a little
taste.
something.
Need a little taste. So I'm on a roll, man. I got two good things that normally the things I bring to our audience are pretty horrible concoctions that it's funny to think about it, but some of them actually turn out pretty good.
I think we're going to market your brand here. It's going to be a little something something.
Little something something. It's Robert's little something something. Put that into a theme song
next week.
So I'm pretty proud of that, man. I didn't do a whole lot interesting this week other than just exist, and I think that's my one thing that I did. I was like, you know what, I'm proud of that.
Well, that's great. Well, if you can't satisfy your sweet tooth, at least you can go listen to Pod of Thunder, Cobras and Fire, Growing Up Rock, Slamfest Podcast, Decibel Geek, A to Z Radio, Metal Up Your Podcast, The Hustle, Disciples of the Watch, Podcast Rock City, Sean Geek and Fast Fret Podcast, State of Amorica, Rock Strikes 10, Potter Than Hell, Shout It Out Loudcast, The Ron Keel Podcast, The Kiss Room, Ages of Rock, Retro Zest Podcast, and don't forget about Monty.
Hey, it's Monty.
Monty's Rockcast. Come visit us, inobscuria.com. Like us, share us, recommend us. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. All right. So last week we had a special guest. We had a very important episode, an RIP episode, and we have to do those memorial episodes every once in a while.
Yeah.
Because it happens. Life happens.
It's a VIP RIP.
Yes. And
special
death
guest with a death.
Yes. So I am so sorry that we got away from the 2024 manifesto. This week, we will get back to our manifesto of themes and songs coming from a particular source, not only an individual, but now an institution and an inspiration.
Needs to be institutionalized, maybe.
This is true. So please consider this atonement.
Captain Contact.
Oh my God, you're such an ass. You're going to HE double hockey sticks for that one, mister.
I'm your captain, yeah. I'm your captain, yeah. I'm your captain, yeah.
Man, that's another one of those classic rock songs they stopped playing. That used to be absolutely regular, probably 80s to early 90s.
Early 90s.
And then after that, you don't hear that anymore on the radio.
I discovered Grand Funk in the early 90s, and it was so hard to find CDs because they didn't really press their old albums on CDs, but that's what I was collecting at the time, and it took me forever to get their CDs, and then I switched over to vinyl again.
But that's such a good song, man.
Oh,
it's just
so good. If you've never listened to Grand Funk past the hits, you should go check out their albums. Really, really good, especially the first 4 or 5 albums. Amazing.
I was going to say, now that we started the thing with the Captain
Content.
I still want to say Chaos. I have to stop myself every time because I'm going to say Chaos, but I've got like sources now. People are feeding me info, like secret sources.
Oh.
Yeah. So I can't name names, Tony Griggs, sending me stuff.
Well, Tony Griggs sends me about 4 or 5 a week. I think,
so I got to catch up with him. But yeah, so he sent me Rough Cut.
What the hell you say?
Oh, we've already played Rough Cut, Tony.
I know, but Dreaming Again, it's like Crocus Screaming in the Night.
Oh, yeah.
But it's
Dreaming in the Night.
It's kind of this, it's real similar, but it's like, it's
Dreaming
pretty close.
in the Night.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's what it reminded me of. So I had to mention that because I appreciate the help because I need all the help I can get.
Well, we're going to get to something this week, but I'm still having to repay you for last week. I do apologize. So here, special gift just for the captain.
Oh, yeah. Oh my God, I will wear this with pride, is the actual Captain Chaos.
What's wrong with you?
Captain Caveman.
Captain I've only had 2 beers.
Yeah, you'll be all right.
Captain Caveman. Captain Chaos, of course, Dom DeLuise from the Cannonball Run.
Right.
Dun, dun, dun! I am Captain Chaos.
Thank you.
Yes, you're the third
I
captain.
do know things. It's not often, but I do know things.
We have a lot of captains. We have Captain Ryan, too.
I know Captain Ryan.
Lots of captains.
Look, and the size is perfect.
Look at that, would you?
It'll shrink to fit perfectly. Show my muscular pecs. Yeah, that's a good summertime T-shirt.
Exactly, and now you can wear that with pride and represent yourself. And so atonement for last week. We're going to get back to it. In our conversation last week with Chris L., you made a comment about how you missed out on so many 90s bands because you were mainly focused on what radio and MTV were playing with kind of the big four of grunginess, which is Pearl Jam, Alice in Chains, Soundgarden, Nirvana, and you didn't dive deep back then. So we played some music last week where you're like, damn, that's from the 90s. I missed that one. I didn't get that one.
There's a lot of that. This is before I kind of got into college radio stuff, so this is early on. I'm transitioning from classic to alternative.
Right. So that, and then 99X is back, so I know you've talked about that a lot, that's kind of, brought up a lot of bands and music that you had forgotten about.
It's been in my thoughts lately.
And also the last few weeks, you have sent me songs from bands, new and old, that fit into the early mid-90s style. You sent me a new one that I was like, damn, that sounds like a 90s band, but it's a brand new band.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to hold that one for later.
Please do, because I'd like to...
We're going to explore that one.
I could only find, I think, 2 songs, so I'm looking forward to finding some more stuff.
Well, I pre-ordered the album, so yes, it's on its way.
Nice, okay.
Now, however, one of them in particular that you sent me was a band called Paul, P-A-W. And you sent... Paul. And you sent that with an article, and you forwarded that to me, and the article was about the album Dragline of theirs, which was released 31 years ago, crazy, and was the great lost masterpiece of the 90s grunge era. Now, I don't know if you remember, we played them on episode 72.
Of course
from
not.
that album.
No. I'm not going to get embarrassed about that. If you said we played them last week, I'd be like, oh, crap.
But I knew...
That was 4 years ago.
I knew it was your way of saying...
We need to talk about it again.
It's time to do this again. So, Robert, this is episode 232, Under the Grunge, part 6.
Yes.
And I'm sure people out there are like, how in the hell are there more than 5 episodes of grunge bands? Oh, there's a lot of grunge bands that you've never heard of. And a lot of them are still from Seattle. And we still have a long way to go.
We haven't even left the downtown district yet.
No. We're barely outside the city limits here. So we're going to talk grunge again. You want to tell the people? Because you were there. You were there, man, when it was happening.
Yeah.
Tell the people what grunge is. What's your definition is where I'm going.
Oh. I was like, well, according to Wikipedia.
No, I'm not. No textbook. What is your definition of grunge? I'll tell you mine, and we'll meet somewhere in the middle.
Caught me by surprise, just like a lot of people, listening to either classic rock. And I wasn't into hair bands, but I would hear them everywhere. And I was getting into metal. I was in college, friend of mine.
Thrash.
Just kind of like skirting the edges of Metallica. And then in 90 or 91, saw Metallica for my first concert was Metallica. Yeah! And so I was getting into the thrash and the metal. My first band in college we did Trooper poorly, like horribly, but we did it start to finish, didn't lose track.
And any recordings out there of that?
God,
oh man, too bad they didn't have phones back then.
The good Lord above, there were no phones, no videos. We had so much fun though, because there was no pressure. It was just a frat party. But I thought I was checking off a bucket list as far as playing in a band. At that point in time, at 21 years old, I thought, this is so cool. I'm going to be able to tell my kids I was in a band one time.
For a minute.
Yeah, for one show. And I was fine with that. I had no idea that, 8 years later I was going to meet you and be in an actual real band. But that's beside the point.
And tour and
have a band van and all those experiences, and then have a podcast about music. So heard Smells Like Teen Spirit just like everybody else. I remember I was at a fraternity party and somebody had the radio on instead of, usually they were just swapping CDs out back then, and they had the radio on and it came on, and the first time I heard it, I was like, that's the silliest song I've ever heard. I thought it was a Weird Al spoof song.
No, that came later.
And then I heard it again the next day, and that's when it sunk in as, oh no, this is real. It caught me. And then about the same time, I don't remember if I heard Pearl Jam, like that would have come out right after that.
Yeah, within a few months. I think if I remember hearing their Nirvana song for the first time. I had heard of them with Bleach, but the first time I heard, the mass appeal of Nirvana, I want to say it was... You're right, Ronnie James DOG. It was December of 91. And then I don't think I heard the new Soundgarden album or Pearl Jam until spring 92.
Yeah. So that fits with my timeline in my head, that I heard the Nirvana, started thinking about it. Pearl Jam was next for me, and it was singable. And I was really into learning guitar, and I realized that I could sing. I'm not saying I was great, but I could at least sing a tune, and I sang it in front of other people. And people were like, oh, I didn't know you could sing. And so it was a very special time when I was
Me neither.
I was like, I didn't either. It just kind of, I was actually making fun of Eddie Vedder. I was like doing a voice.
You were yarling.
Oh, restless breakfast table. And it kind of morphed into me just singing it. And by the end of the song, I was not trying to be funny. I was just trying to sing. And I was like, oh, okay, I can do that. So yeah, then all of a sudden the Alice in Chains came in, and then I was hooked right then. Because the hairband stuff wasn't hitting it for me. The thrash metal I loved, I couldn't see myself playing that or singing it. So
Right.
I loved it, but I didn't see myself doing that. But when alternative and grunge came around, I could do that. They wear t-shirts and jeans. I can do that. They stare at the floor. I can do that. And they just play open
They
chords.
were active.
Well, I'm just saying,
But yeah, they did some of that.
Some of that, but the just the chords and the song structure were pretty simple.
Yeah.
And that's what hooked me, is that I could see myself doing it. And that's where grunge came in for me. And it had substance. I was not ever part of the hairband crowd where, I wore spandex, and even though I had a Camaro.
I would love to see that, though.
Yeah, I never had the big hair. I had friends in high school that adopted that. And I remember them walking around in Florida with like leather trench coats and the bandanas and everything. I'm like, you tool. You're in Florida, man. Stop. Just stop.
You know your ass is sweaty.
Yeah, you got crotch right down there.
You guys don't like swamp crotch? I miss it. I used to get that all the time. I'm working on the ramp. Oh, those were the days.
What the hell you say?
So yeah, I just found it. I could identify with it. It was a little broody, and in college, Robert was a little broody in college.
The lyrics were
my moments.
The lyrics were definitely more of contemplative life.
Yes,
more so than let's party and get chicks.
And that's exactly where the space I was at. So all that just came together. It's like they were writing it for me, and I think me and everybody else that just jumped on that bandwagon. But like you said, I pretty much stuck to what was on the radio. Now I would buy the CDs, so I knew the Big Five. I knew all their songs, but that was it. And once college radio for me didn't come around until I was 40 years old, and I started listening to local college radio, and that's when that real alternative, not just the mainstream alternative, but real true alternative,
the real deal.
Yeah.
Now, who's your fifth? You said the Big Five. You add in Smashing Pumpkins?
Stone Temple Pilots.
Oh, Stone Temple Pilots.
Yeah.
So it could be the Big Six if you add in Smashing Pumpkins as well.
And I liked mainly their hits. I would buy their CDs, and like Melancholy and the Infinite Sadness.
Never bought that one.
I went back and listened to it just like, I think about 3 weeks ago, because I remember buying the 2 CDs and being like, where's the hit? Like skip. Oh, there it is.
Yeah.
But now I appreciate it more.
I should go back and listen to it too.
Yeah.
I found it too long at the time.
It was bloated at the time, and now it's just like, I'll just appreciate the orchestration.
I think it was Use Your Illusion 3.
It kind of, yeah. So, and that's what turned me off of all of that, was Use Your Illusion 1, 2, and 12, and on and on and on.
Yeah, I mean, it's, it wasn't, grunge to me was a natural progression of what we've talked about with the in-betweener bands, those bands that were coming out of the late 80s, early 90s, where it was like not quite fitting in the categorizations that were there then, the genres that were there then. So you knew something was coming. And then when I heard Nirvana the first time, I remember calling or chatting with Brandon Still, and I said, there's a band, it sounds like a punk band on regular radio, and we were like kind of tripping out, like, I heard that song too. Like it sounded like, to me, like the hardcore punk bands that we were into 5 years earlier.
You heard punk because you had been into punk a lot, where I had not been into punk, so I didn't have any reference point, but you did.
But I think, to me, what I realized grunge was, and the reason I really jumped into it, is because it was a hybrid of everything that I was really getting into, which is punk, metal, and a lot of respect for 70s classic rock, because a lot of that was kind of built into the background of the grunge bands as well. Even though it was heavy and broody, it still had some of those classic rock elements in it, because all those bands came from that scene of growing up and loving those bands as well. These weren't really bands that were really into the hair bands. Some of them had tried to do that, like Alice in Chains, but it didn't work for them, and so they had to morph. But where they came from was that classic rock from the 70s and early 80s. So to me, it was perfect, because that's all the stuff I was really into at the time. So I had no issue getting into all of these bands. At the same time, I didn't throw away my Motley Crue CDs, and I didn't throw away my hardcore punk stuff. I could appreciate all of it.
Right.
but a lot of people did. A lot of people, by the end of 92, they were abandoning everything that they thought was no longer cool.
It was like the transition, the brief period of disco and then the hard crash.
Right.
Like there was disco record burning parties and just a huge backlash to that. It was so huge. And
it
then
wasn't
just
that extreme.
But
with
no,
the
not
hair
extreme.
bands,
But at the same time, hair bands became hokey very quickly. They went from cool to just goofy and silly.
Yeah, all of a sudden, especially for us, because we were of college age. So when you go to college, for some reason, you think you become, above
smart.
Things. You think you become smart. No, you got in. Now you got to actually do something.
Yeah, you just have to learn.
But the attitude is, oh, that's beneath me now. That was so high school. And that's what happened, I think, to a lot of our peers was they just dumped everything because they no longer saw it as cool because times were changing. But I had no issue still blasting Dio. In fact, I remember blasting Dio in my dorm room, and people were like, "What the hell are you playing?
Turn that
it's
crap
the new
down."
Dio." Like, nobody's listening to Dio. Put Soundgarden on. I'm like, I will, but I like Dio too.
I remember the guy next door listened to Grateful Dead, and my other neighbor was like, "Man, I hate that country music he always plays."
It did sound very country.
I didn't know really what Grateful. I'd heard trucking, so I was just like, "That's country, really?"
Well, that's a good point. You see the image of Grateful Dead, and you hear the name, and you just think, "Oh, this is gonna be killer rock music."
Yeah.
And it's not. It's very country.
It's real laid back, and it's never grabbed me. Any of the jam band stuff, I don't get it. It's like understanding
I had my moment.
jazz. Yeah, I don't understand.
I had my little moment, but I still was listening to Dio at the same time.
Yeah, but you have a broad education. It shows a lot about a lot of stuff. So
I just don't have a problem with labels. I just listen to everything.
Whatever you enjoy listening to.
Exactly. But today we are going to try to stick into this category of what you would consider grunge or alternative from the early 90s. There's going to be some interesting picks here today, some things that are related to other bands we've played in the past. And that's the case with this first one. So we've played a band here at the old Firehouse before. They played at the Firehouse. They played at Ghost Fest. They opened Ghost Fest.
Yeah.
In 2022, this band.
In the middle of the pandemic. Throwing a big concert like that in the middle of the pandemic is sketchy. But
well, we got all the ghosts to show up. So
yeah, that's true.
There were a lot of them. This band originally was called The Front. I don't know if you remember, but you liked them. You thought they were cool. Their whole image was they were kind of in betweener. They were coming out of that kind of, we're a hair band, but we're not. And we kind of have a retro 60s kind of look and feel to our music a little bit. That was that Paisley thing that never quite caught on.
It's such a weird thing that you see a trend, you think, okay, this is where it's going. And then just like the needle on the record.
Grunge wiped that out.
Yeah.
But
Tesla was one of those bands that I always thought of is, when we've talked ad nauseum about being stigmatized as hair bands, but they're the ones that stand out to me as the one band that went along with the hair band stuff. But when I saw them, they looked a little different. They didn't have the perms and things like that.
Yeah, they were just a blue-collar hard rock band.
And so that always made me think of them as just adjacent, like somewhere in between, and they didn't make the transition, but they're one of the in-betweeners. I think most people would just consider them a hair band. Probably.
A lot of people just consider them a hair band, and they still play. I think they're the biggest band on the upcoming Monsters of Rock next year. So
with Tommy Skilch?
Nope, he's not in the band.
Still not. I thought they would make up by now. They're like, clean up a little bit.
No, still not there.
Still not there. All right.
But this band, here's what happened. In 1992, the Front moved to Epic Records. So they left their current label, went to Epic, and the record company said, "Hey, you guys probably need to change your name because I noticed you're changing your sound a little bit. We don't want you to be associated with what you were because there's this whole new thing going on. We don't want you to not sell records because people think you're a hair band." Although that phrase wasn't quite there at that point in time, but
that's true. We didn't call them hair
glam
bands.
metal or whatever they wanted to call it
at
then.
the time.
So they did. They changed their name. They had changed their sound a little bit, and they changed their name to Baker's Pink.
Let me give you the reaction of the record guy when they come in and announce that.
I guess it's a little Pearl Jamish, maybe. Baker's Pink. They went with it. It was the name of a song that the lead singer had written.
That explains it.
And so anyway, that's how they got it. So they released one album, 93, and the first single was called Watercolors, and it was remixed by Ron St. Germain, who was doing all the Soundgarden stuff at that time.
Okay.
So the video, because of that, and because it was a good song, the video did receive some MTV rotation at the time, which...
So far, so good. Okay.
Going back to the 90s, MTV was a big player.
Still a powerhouse.
Big player. If you were on MTV, you got plays, you were going to sell records.
And that's where I first saw Stone Temple Pilots. It was a spring break, and they come on, they're like, next, and like Stone Temple
blue
Pilots.
hair or red hair or something?
He had a dress with crazy lipstick on.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this dude's in a dress with crazy grandma lipstick on, but they rocked it. But it was at a beach, some beach somewhere. It was just like, this is
didn't fit in with the beach.
Weirdest thing I've ever seen. But yeah, same thing. The music hooked me. Their look kind of freaked me out. I was like, okay.
So they had everything lined up. I mean, everything, Baker's Pink, not the best name, but it's not the front. So they changed the name. Their sound has changed. They got Ron St. Germain in to do some production work. They got a video on MTV. And then for some reason, Epic puts them on tour opening for Great White.
What the hell did you just say?
Ooh, swing and a miss.
Why? Why did they do that? They were trying to avoid that, but that's who they put them on tour with. Didn't bode well for Baker's Pink.
Were they still riding high, though? Great White was one of those bands that lingered
They
a
didn't
little
transition.
bit longer.
They
didn't transition, but they were still lingering.
90, 91 maybe, but this is 93.
Because remember, we still got Damn Yankees about 91.
We did, yeah, but we got Damn Yankees, the second album post that. I think they came out
They were still
the
riding
grunge thing.
They were riding their previous coattails. So that was not a good idea. I don't know.
And I was thinking, when was the fire? But that was 10 years later.
Oh yeah, that happened. That was when we were playing. Yeah, we were playing at the same time in the same club that had the same foam insulation on the roof. You remember that?
Yep.
I think we played like 5 days after that fire, and I remember
we didn't have pyro though. Let's make that.
No, but at the same time,
we knew better.
I remember pointing out, don't forget, there's the exit.
There's the door.
Their guitar player died. I don't know why, but he didn't remember where the exit was.
Yeah, maybe he was trying to help other people. I mean, just
it's
people
horrible.
just pushed. They have a documentary out. I have not seen it. I don't know that I want to.
No, I can't do that because it was personal in the sense that I understand
we were doing that scene then.
Exactly. And that small clubs and it's packed. It's just, it could happen anywhere really, but that was bad.
So that was a bad move on the part of the record company, and that was kind of it for Baker's Pink. However, the lead singer and songwriter Michael Anthony Fernando, he was the lead singer in the front, lead singer in Baker's Pink. He's going to reinvent himself again. And in the late 90s, he changed his name to do a solo album as Michael Moon. And so he did like late 90s alternative style music as Michael Moon.
I don't remember that either.
No, I don't think that one did even as well as Baker's Pink, which didn't do that well. However, I'm going to play a song from Baker's Pink because it's actually a really cool album, and it is kind of all over the place as far as the music and the style, but I would still put it in with the grunge. So here's a song called Euphoria from 93.
face is shiny from evil. Your lips so luscious and evil. Well, heaven drips from your mouth. I know what it's all about. I caught you like a disease, and it's flowing through my veins. Through my
Big Finish on a grunge song.
I know.
That's not always the case.
Well, they're coming from that other place.
That's true. Okay,
They're still
see?
transitioning.
That's one of the things you can point at. Like, what's the difference? Well, that right there, because usually you
Big hard rock finish.
Big Finish number 12.
Yeah.
God, I miss Big Finishes.
I know.
You and I doing Big Finish. That's what I'm talking about, because that was fun.
Actually doing the stingers at the end.
Yeah.
Oh, so much fun.
And our drummer, Kent, would throw out a number. We'd look at him and he'd like, 52 or whatever. Some nights he was ready to go home and he'd be like, 3, 1, 2, 3, done. And then some nights we were having fun. It's like 58. And we get to count out 58 stingers on the end of that. But that song, so the start of it starts off reminding me of Black Label Society. Can't remember the name of that song, but you know, it's one of their big hits. And then gets into it, just a good rock song. Ian Astbury starts singing in that middle quiet part. I'm like, oh, he's a guest singer on this
That's
song.
exactly what I was going to say. This is to me, it's totally a mix of Mother Love Bone and The Cult.
Well, in The Cult, another band that spanned both decades. But Mother Love Bone, funny you mentioned that, because I was going to say this sounds like a band where the singer is supposed to overdose, and then other bands write songs in tribute, and then those songs get big, and they include members of the band that are still around.
Yes.
A la Mother Love Bone.
Definitely a Mother Love Bone vibe with this band. I'm pretty sure that's what they were going for. In fact, they probably played with Mother Love Bone.
And that would have been a much better pairing than
Great White. Well,
Great
Mother Love
Snipe.
Bone were no longer around.
That's
Pearl
true.
Jam was around at that point.
True.
But
so that all those things together, there's a lot to listen to in that. It's that lead. I was going to say something. It sounded like he was peeling the notes off the guitar, just peeling them off one by one.
Let's talk about the instruments. The guitars were excellent. The drums. And that's the one thing I loved about grunge were the drums. There were a lot of tribal drumming.
Yeah.
Whereas in punk, it was all about speed. And hair metal, it was really just the big beats, and it got really processed.
It was about your drum kit spinning around in 360
or
degrees.
you spinning your sticks.
Yeah,
but there were some great drummers, but it was, they only showcased that when they had their solos. But what I loved about the 90s was they took all that production value down just to the right amount of production value. And you heard the drums like you should hear them. And they were doing a lot of this tribal drumming. So there was a lot of ghost notes thrown back in, which that was a 70s thing. They threw that back in, and they were doing a lot of tom work. So me being a drummer at the time, it was just
that's what stood
glorious.
out to you.
Yeah, it was so great. And the production on this thing, I think, is fantastic on this album. It is on a major label, which you would expect. I was trying to remember what the Euphoria chorus was reminding me of. You said Black Label.
Well, that first part was
There is an LA Gun song called Malaria. And it's Malaria is very similar to Euphoria.
They didn't get a nasty gram from an attorney? I guess not.
Yeah, and I think that came out in 91 or 92.
Oops.
Let's see. No, 89. is when
89,
that
so yeah, it
second
was-
LA Guns album.
They get credit for then.
Yeah, so this came out in 93. I feel like that could have worked if it just received the right push. I mean, it was on MTV, but
Yeah.
just didn't get the right push. And then putting them on tour with Great White just killed it.
And maybe not the top 5, but there was plenty of room.
There was
And,
room.
The 10 or 11,
If-
12, 13.
If
down that
Paul
road.
had a hit, these guys could have had it.
Yeah. If the Nixons had a hit
Right.
later on in the
Right.
90s, the Nixons.
Yeah, and then you got Bush, you got Silverchair,
Yeah,
you had all these other bands that were
multiple bands.
sort of doing
Yeah.
this thing too that got major attention,
Yeah.
but didn't happen for them. So, oh well, at least we can play them here.
I bought the Nixon CD.
Yes! That boy is good. Good and terrible.
Did you? Yeah. I never had the Nixons.
Very disappointing. That was the time where you
The
didn't
one
really know
song.
the one
You get the
song.
one song.
I was like, oh, there got to be a lot of good songs. Nope.
You should go back and listen to it if you still have it. Or did you get
No,
rid of it?
it's scratched to hell. I'm
chuck
sure.
it
Yeah, I
out
think
the
it was.
window?
I tried listening and it was just skip. So I will pull it up, and listen to it.
All right, so Baker's Pink, not from Seattle. We have to, at least in song number 2, go to Seattle for our next
Go
pick.
back. Let's go back.
It's required when you
Yeah.
do this show about grunge. So we're going to go to Seattle. We're going to play a band that is an influencer. They were more of a punk band at the time, but they were definitely an influencer on the whole grunge scene. And in fact, when they came out in the 80s, they only lasted for a couple of years, and they splintered into a band that we played on our very first grunge episode, a band called Tad. So I don't know if you remember them, but probably not. But
Probably
Tad
not.
was a great grunge band that just never,
Yeah.
they were big in the scene, but just never kind of made it to the next
Didn't
level.
click.
Yeah, so the bass player, I believe, from Tad was in this band called Bundle of Hiss. Love it. Now, do you know what Bundle of His is?
Hiss.
Hiss. It has something to do with the heart. It's actually a medical term.
Oh, I thought it was like a
Like
agricultural term.
No, Bundle of His, but I don't. This is Hiss with 2 S's, but I think it's Bundle of His has something to do with the
No,
heart.
I'll just go and say no.
Okay.
Do you
And
know?
well, that's all I know. That's as much as I know.
Oh, that is all you know.
It has. It's some sort of
So it's
medical
like
term.
a wad of cholesterol.
I don't know.
in
It
your
has something
heart,
to do
a
with the
bundle of
aorta, I
Hiss.
believe. A doctor who listens to the program out there will tell
Please.
us. I'm sure there are plenty of them.
Yes.
Because we challenge the brains of
Yes.
doctors every week.
We're that high
That's-
on the intelligence scale.
That's where we are.
Yeah.
That's just who we influence. So this band, Bundle of Hiss, recorded and distributed their demo tapes to fans and the bands that they were playing with at the time, that being Soundgarden and the Melvins. But then they split up in 88. So they never really properly put out this album that they had recorded all these demos for.
Sounds like the problem was their work ethic.
Maybe. So this guy Kurt goes on to form his new band Tad with the guy Tad who's in the band. And Tad Doyle actually was the lead singer in Tad, but he used to be a drummer. So this guy Kurt is a bass player. He got together with Tad as a drummer, and then they figured out, no, we're just going to change it, and Tad's can play guitar and be the vocalist. And that became the trio that is Tad. But these demos for Bundle of Hiss finally got a proper CD release in 2000 by Loveless Records. But prior to that, it had just been tape trading. But like I said, Soundgarden, Melvins, that's who they were playing with. They were influencing all of those young bands then to be kind of, what became grunge. So I'm going to play a song from, I don't really know what year. I believe should be 86 or 87. This came off the demo tape, so I'm not really sure. But this is a song called Fireplace, just for you.
Thank you. 86 or 87?
Yeah.
I can't even.
That defines grunge.
That is
the
absolutely spot
Seattle
on.
sound.
That much earlier than it bubbled to the surface. And I can't even imagine what my reaction would have been at even 87. Because, I mean, 87, I started to get into hard rock, Van Halen, 5150. I was liking the heavier stuff already. So I might have been into that. I don't know.
I would have considered this punk along with the SST bands that I was listening to at the time, like Black Flag, the Minutemen, Fire Hose. So this would have fit right in. But I would have.
What the hell did you just say?
No. Fire Hose.
I swear.
Punk band.
Oh, okay.
Not the band from Charlotte.
Oh, okay.
That used to be White Heat. No. Anyway, I would have put them in with those bands at that time, but listening to it now, this is the blueprint for
100%.
everything that became grunge.
Just a really rocking bass line to just push that whole song start to finish.
Get that
it just drove
bit of
it.
growly distortion on it, just a bite to it, simplicity, and just kick you enough space to just kick you in the ass.
Like I could hear the bass line. I could hear it pull up any of the hair bands.
No layers.
I can't even hear the bass line in most. Well, they're just going dum 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 dum. Anyway, so
they're brushing their hair.
Exactly. They're checking their tax returns. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, reminded me of Soundgarden, reminded me of Skin Yard. I could see where this would have been an influence on Alice in Chains as well. So absolutely the blueprint for what became grunge. Okay, well, let's stay in the state of Washington, but this band is not from Seattle. They are from the Tri-Cities.
Which ones?
I don't know. The three cities, I guess, that
Tacoma
got together and
Tacoma
decided to rename themselves Tri-Cities. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know my geography.
Never
in
been there.
Washington, but I'm assuming it's in the vicinity
somewhere
of Seattle.
Close, approximate,
nearby, maybe. I don't know. Anyway, this band missed the mark as far as the grunge years, just a little bit. Their first album didn't come out until 1998.
Ooh,
so by that point in time, things had changed,
Yeah.
and they were obviously influenced by everything going on in their region at the time, but unfortunately, they were a little late to the game.
A year later, Kid Rock came around and just knocked them all out. No, maybe not.
My name is
Well, he definitely got huge a year later, but yeah, as did Limp Bizkit and all the other stuff that killed it. So this band put out an independent release in 98, and it was very much of the grunge sound. Now, the reason that I even found this band, I guess I just say that first. There is a show. It's on Amazon. I believe it's on a couple of other streaming services. I saw it on Netflix, I believe. So I think it's it's one of those shows where they've shopped it around.
Yeah.
It sits for a while on one and then it goes to another
Kind of
place.
like the movies that are shot at my house. They sit around
Exactly,
a while.
yeah. And then they go
somebody
somewhere
goes,
else.
I'll give you $20 for it. And they're like, okay.
This had like 3 seasons. The show was called Louder Milk. And if of any people that would appreciate this show, you would appreciate it. It's Ron Livingston, pretty famous actor. He plays this guy, Louder Milk, it's based in Seattle.
Yeah.
He was a former music critic in the 90s, and he's like always wearing a Mudhoney shirt or, something to represent kind of that 90s time frame, but it's set in present day. He became an alcoholic, and so this is his whole journey of he's now like an AA, but it's like a fake AA. He's like the lead of an AA group, and it's just hilarious. Just the people that they put him with, and he's just a dick. He's an absolute dickhead, and at the same time, it's kind of endearing. You need to watch it.
Are you saying
really
I resemble
funny.
the character?
No, I'm just saying you would appreciate
okay.
it.
I was like, wow, okay.
Not at all.
I can see myself doing that.
What can I get you?
I'd like a large coffee.
Okay, so hot coffee.
Hot coffee.
Okay, room for cream.
Totally leave room for cream.
Why are you talking like that?
Why are you talking like that?
Because this is my voice?
This is my voice.
No, it's not. I heard you talking a minute ago. I know you don't talk like that.
Neither do you, because nobody actually talks like this. You choose to talk like this, and today I chose to talk like this. Pretty fucking annoying, isn't it?
Why are you so rude, man?
Just stop doing that.
I can't help it. This is my voice.
No, it's not. It's an affectation that annoying teenagers and rich people use to sound like they don't give a shit. Except you work in a coffee shop, so I know you're not rich, and you don't look like a teenager. Unless you're Eunice Kennedy Shriver, knock it off.
So just because I talk like this means I don't give a shit? And what exactly am I supposed to not give a shit about?
That's an excellent question to ask yourself in your actual voice.
Excuse me. Some of us would like to order.
Fuck everybody.
You're a total dick, man.
There you go. Good. You're talking.
So anyway, there is
Starting a cult. I mean, that's next on my list is starting a cult. So it's
there's no cult in this
I got to
one,
check it
no.
off sooner or later.
But there is a band in this one. There's a coffee shop band that plays, and I was Googling. I'm like, I wonder if that's a real band because they're not bad. And so I Googled band in Loudermilk. And instead, what I got was Loudermilk was a band from Tri-Cities, Washington that put out an album in 1998. And so I discovered this band by looking.
Let me go down that rabbit hole.
Yeah, so I went down that rabbit hole. And yeah, they put out an independent album in 98. They get signed when American Recordings hears them. So it's a pretty big label. You know, they've got Black Crowes, Slayer. So they get signed.
There's a pair.
Yeah. And they get stuck on a tour before their album even comes out, their proper album. Mm-hmm. They get stuck on 2 tours, opening for Motley Crue and Megadeth in 1998.
Yeah.
Which is kind of odd pairing when you hear this
doldrums,
band.
Yeah, the doldrums for Motley Crue.
Well, I think it was Motley Crue coming back with their whole Generation Swine, the really horrible, like a 9 Inch Nails version of
like I said,
Motley Crue.
The doldrums. I was trying to be polite.
The absolute worst. Then they get dropped by American Recordings before they ever even put an album out. So they get dropped, but immediately get picked back up by DreamWorks. And DreamWorks actually is known as being a movie company, but they had a label for a short time in the late 90s, early 2000s. They release an album in 2002, and they put them out on tour with, you know, some other bands of that time, but it doesn't go anywhere. And by 2004, Loudermilk, the band, changes their name to Gosling because they changed their musical style to fit more of that time frame. So they're doing more like emo and indie. Mm-hmm. And that works out pretty well for them. And Gosling goes on tour with Velvet Revolver.
Ooh.
In 2006. Yet you still probably haven't heard of Loudermilk or Gosling, even though they toured with these bands.
Because Muse opened up for Velvet Revolver when you and I saw them.
Yeah, it was, who was it? It was
Gwinnett Arena.
It was Muse, Velvet Revolver.
The Who. No.
Not The Who. Who were the other bands? The Vines or somebody?
No, it was Jimmy Eat World.
Jimmy Eat World, that's right. And there was somebody else like The Vines or somebody like that.
Oh, I don't
remember. It was a
remember.
garage rock band.
I don't remember
which one.
I don't remember a fourth band at all. But the
There
three
was,
bands,
yeah.
the big three were
Jet?
great.
Maybe it was Jet.
Oh, it might have been Jet. Anyway, it doesn't matter.
Anyway.
If I can't remember, it doesn't matter.
So the Gosling kind of splits in 2006 after they tour with Velvet Revolver. The drummer, Isaac Carpenter, goes on to play with Duff McKagan's band Loaded, and then he joins a band called Ours.
Oh, really?
So this is where Ours got one of their drummers.
Where are they on the banner?
Oh, they're down there somewhere.
Oh, there. Yeah. They got the basement.
By the way, Tad's right here. We were
Tad?
talking about Tad last. There's Tad right there. Yeah, on our banner.
Sitting over there.
So that's where the drummer goes, and the guitarist Mark Watrous. He's played with Shudder to Think, the Raconteurs, and the Shins. So he's gone and done pretty well because all those bands did pretty well. And again, they only came on my radar because of the whole Netflix series that happened to have the same name as their original band. So this is Loudermilk.
I'll have to look that up.
From 1998, their independent release, which finally got released by another label. The name of the album is Man with Gun Kills 3.
Jesus.
And the name of this song I'm going to play is Tooth for a Tooth.
before we talk about the song, I have to tell you what's going on outside my house as we are recording this. So right outside my house is the end of the street, basically. There's, kind of a dead-end street, and then there's the train tracks. And Sunday afternoon, somebody came and dumped a pink limousine.
I saw that when I drove in.
Yeah, so I didn't mention that, but yeah, so I saw the tow truck drive away, and it was unmarked tow truck.
What do you mean they dumped it?
They dropped it off and drove away.
What business is that?
Well, that's the construction company that rents the building next door.
So it's not theirs?
No. So but it's not on my property, and it's like, not my problem. But if they dumped it on my property.
And it's kind of cool.
Yeah. So on my daily trip to go get something to eat, I walk past it, and it's a pink limousine. And, it goes through your head like, what the hell?
What's in the trunk?
What's going on? And it was not in good shape. But I saw the exhaust sticking out the side, and I went, I know what this is. It's somebody is going to fix this up. And there's this thing called the 24 hours of lemons, not Le Mans, but it's lemons, and you're not allowed to spend more than like $500 on the car, and it's really fun. I almost did it.
Is it here in Atlanta?
Oh, it's around the country.
Oh, it's a thing.
Yeah, it's a thing. You go to different racetracks, and so people get together and they build these cars. And like I said, I came within. I had a car that I bought, an old BMW with a roll cage, everything ready to go, and we were going to do that, and I got sidetracked with other stuff. So
it sat there for a while.
It sat there for about a year and a half, and I finally sold it. But I thought that came through my mind. So yesterday I saw a couple of guys after work pull up and kind of standing around. I'm like, So at this moment, it's now, I don't know, 9 o'clock at night.
Yep.
They're over there banging on it, working on it at night in the dark now. And
right.
I'm like, I haven't even talked to them, but I guarantee that's what's going on. So
could be Demolition Derby too.
Demolition Derby. It's just this street. There's something about this street. This wouldn't happen on any other street in this neighborhood. You know that. But on this street, for some reason, weird shit like that happens all the time. And at this point, I'm like, I don't care. They're out there having a good time. I'm kind of envious that. Ooh, nice. I'm kind of envious they get to do that. I'm working on a car in my garage, but it's not for the Demolition Derby yet. If I get tired of it, it might. So, getting back to why we're here, which is music, not cars.
What'd you think of Loudermilk?
Holy damn.
That's an independent release, too.
Heavy, sounded great. I could hear the beginnings of the emo thing, like right at the very end.
Still grunge, though.
Grunge,
yeah.
But I could see that transition now. It's not, unfathomable that he would go from grunge to more the emo thing.
And you can tell these are good musicians.
Yeah.
Like, you can tell, these guys are going to go play in other groups. Like, you don't go to Duff McKagan's band or to ours if you're not really good at your craft. So, and that guitarist, like I said, he's been in the Shins.
I'm looking forward to listening to more of that. So
you should check them out.
How many albums you said?
So Loudermilk only had, I think, this independent release, and then they had a debut major label, and then I think that's when they changed their name to Gosling, and I think Gosling had a few albums.
Yeah.
So go check them out.
I will go check them out.
All right. So have you ever wondered what happened to Hero from Soundgarden?
I was just going to ask you that.
I knew that was on the tip of your tongue. Yep.
Who?
Hero. He was the original bass player in Soundgarden.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. He's a bass player.
What the hell you say?
Oh, before Ben Shepherd, there was Hero. And then also, I know you were thinking, what happened to the original drummer in Screaming Trees? Mark Pickerel.
I've asked you that 3 times and you haven't answered.
Well, I'm going to answer now because those two guys formed a band with this other guy who was Robert Roth.
Ooh,
he's like
combination
you
of me and David Lee
Roth.
Oh, that's horrible.
Combined.
That would be so bad. I'm glad that
that's not who he is.
Okay, good.
But he is infamous. Because
both of us.
He is the guitarist that auditioned for Nirvana after Jason Everman left. So if you remember when Nirvana first came out, they had 2 guitarists. Jason Everman went to form a band called Mind Funk, who we played a couple of times.
Worst decision ever?
Probably. But then he became a badass Green Beret in the Army. So
that's right. I remember that story. Yeah, that's okay. Okay.
So Jason Everman's a badass dude.
He's fine.
So this guy, Robert Roth, goes and tries out. He's going to get the part in Nirvana. Unfortunately, they decided, you know what? We're just going to stay a 3-piece.
Yeah.
And then like a couple months later, they released Nevermind.
He got away.
And then once they're big, they go out and get Pat Smear to be the second guitar player. Damn it!
He got away.
So Robert Roth goes, well, damn it, I'm just going to, this is 1990. You know, he's, damn it, I'm just going to go do my own thing. I'm going to do a solo band. But then he ran into Mark from the Screaming Trees, the original drummer from the Screaming Trees, and said, are you not playing with those guys anymore? Nope, not playing with those guys anymore. All right, well, let's join up and do something. And then they said, hey, Hero left Soundgarden about a year ago. Wonder what he's up to. I don't know. Let's check it out. And so those guys, all former, big bands,
people, yes,
former parts of big bands that hadn't hit yet. None of those bands had hit yet. They form a band called Truly, and they put out albums as this band Truly. They do have a song on the Singles soundtrack. So if you remember, that was a big part of the grunge scene at that time. There was a movie called Singles. On the soundtrack, you had Mother Love Bone, you had Soundgarden, you had Pearl Jam, Alice in Chains. I think Truly had like a B-side on there. So that's kind of like the only place I had ever heard of them. I didn't realize that they had albums out, but they do. So Hero had left Soundgarden in 89. They become this band Truly. They actually played the side stage at Lollapalooza in 1992. Now, I saw Lollapalooza in 93. Did you ever see Lollapalooza?
No.
92 was the one where Soundgarden and Pearl Jam and Chili Peppers played.
We were in Florida. There was no paloozas anywhere around us.
Oh, I'm sure they went to Florida.
Not North Florida.
Maybe not North Florida.
Because you know what's north of North Florida? It's South Alabama.
Oh, right.
And there's nothing
I know
there
they
either.
didn't go there.
And there's also nothing in South
saw them in
Georgia, Louisiana.
I saw them in North Carolina. I saw them in Charlotte.
Yeah,
but that was 93. That was the year after it was Alice in
my
Chains.
Camaro wouldn't have made it that far.
But anyway, this band apparently played the side stage in 92. But again, they, most people haven't heard of them. But they feature guys who could have been in these bands that went on to be famous after they were out of the bands. So
I see a theme.
Yeah, unfortunate. But they're a really good band. 3 albums, 91 to 97. They actually stayed together a lot longer than some of the other bands. And in 2014, their second album, Fast Stories from Kid Coma, came out, got re-released, and it also got categorized as the number 3 top 10 underrated 90s alternative rock albums from Alternative Nation. Which, that's nice, Alternative Nation, that you did that.
Yeah.
Never heard you play them.
Oh, that's right. That's the second
that's a
part
serious
your first
channel.
part, ranking them, and then second part.
Good ranking. Good on you for ranking them, but do you play them? No. No, probably not.
Womp womp.
Well, I'm going to play a song from that album. It is really good. I think it's sort of a concept album.
The thing that kills pretty much every album.
It was a grunge band. So
except for Pink Floyd.
Anyway, they did a little more than grunge, but it still fits in the category. So this is from 1995 is when this got released. So kind of after a lot of those other things had hit and we're kind of already waning. But here is a song called Strangling from Truly.
Okay, this is up there in the top 5-ish episodes of just quality of music. There have been some that are up there because they're fun or funny and great guests, but this is just good shit, man.
Right. And shit you've never heard
Never
before.
heard, but it's familiar.
Exactly.
It's just that warm blanket, man.
Defined. This is the Seattle sound again.
And this is the heavy that I love. So it's heavy, heavy, heavy. You can hear every single instrument in there. And up until today, I know we might have talked about it before, but you mentioned the drums and the transition from the 80s drums to the 90s drums, kind of a tribal beat to it. Mm-hmm. And I'm not a drummer, so there's no way for me to kind of quantify that. But it reminds me of your drumming, and that explains a lot. At the end of the 90s, when I started playing with you, that drumming had that kind of that tribal beat to it versus when we got Kent, he was more of a straightforward drummer. Right. And they both work for different
and much
things.
Better.
You're fine. It was good. It was a good time. But he was sweatier.
Definitely sweatier, and he spit a lot.
He spit a lot.
Yeah.
So if you stood in front of us, like I did, the back.
Yeah.
You're like,
who does that?
I don't know.
Why do drummers do that?
Why do drummers do that? Is that the only drummer, or is that a thing?
No, I think that's a drummer thing.
Is it a drummer? I don't like that thing.
Yeah. I doubt if Hammersmith does that, though. I don't see him spitting on Rachel Bolan.
Let's ask him.
We should.
Let's ask him next time. Do you spit on the guy that writes your
Probably
checks?
not. Probably not. That's, probably not a good idea.
But yet, I got covered in it. Nasty. Right. Well, this is before COVID. I think now he's probably changed his ways. Now that he's in
I don't think he's spitting in Blackberry smoke. Yeah. I don't think that would go over well.
He's just got better aim now. But I just had that connection listening to that song. It's like, oh, God, that's it. And it was always hard for me to describe your drumming style to people. That's it. And so all that together and the heaviness.
Usually you just said it sucks.
Well, it's like one there and there's a drummer over there. Like I said, I can't do the drummer thing. I'm a guitar player. We don't have rhythm.
No, I'm picking at myself, but I actually wasn't a bad drummer.
No,
Come on, I wasn't bad.
I would not have played with you. Listen, we auditioned bad drummers.
We did.
I know.
Can we talk about the guy that set up his drums? It was a
performance
art
What do you
piece.
call
those? It was a rack.
It was a rack.
A rack. So back in the 2000s, it became like a big thing to have a rack, which was this contraption that you put your drums on versus having stands.
Like normally each drum will have a stand, like a tripod.
Or it will actually hook on to a cymbal stand.
Yeah. But this guy, he was trying to be Neil Peart.
Yeah, it was trying to be Neil Peart, but Neil Peart didn't even have a rack. But a lot of the drummers in the late 90s, early 2000s that were trying to get back to that massive kit thing, the new metal bands especially, they had these racks. And so it's like a piece, like a metal fencing that goes over the kick drum.
Yeah, like barricade.
And then you mount everything to it. And so this guy came in, I believe he had double kick drums.
Yeah.
And he took maybe 45 minutes to an hour to set up.
For an audition.
And then just to put it over the top.
Yeah.
He strategically, very precision, put on his gloves.
It took 5 minutes to put on the gloves.
Yes, he put them on just right, like a surgeon, getting ready with his rubber gloves.
Not the O.J. Simpson, no, it didn't fit.
These fit.
Yeah.
These fit perfectly. In fact, he made sure they fit perfectly.
Yeah.
And then it was time to begin the drumming.
And Kevin and I had been watching this now, and we're like, oh, okay, this guy's serious.
Well,
this is going to rock.
I was like, okay, this guy's serious. And then when he started putting the gloves on, I'm like, oh, no.
Oh, see, I didn't know about the gloves. I just thought, okay, he's wearing gloves.
Because I'm coming from a punk rock background. You
don't wear gloves?
Well, I have from time to time if I have blisters, but I don't think that was the case.
That was when you were single.
What the hell did you just say?
True. Just my right hand. But this is a thing with drum. If you're going to wear gloves, you better be next level.
Right.
Or else somebody's just going to kill you.
The dude from Dream Theater.
And he doesn't even do it.
Right. But he's that level that you're achieving.
Yeah. So that's what I'm like, either this is going to be amazing or it's going to be what we got.
Well, see, I just thought this guy's going to be badass. Here we go. Yeah. And I was ready to rock.
This guy could not even keep a beat.
No, I could have played drums better, and I'm horrible.
Could not keep a steady beat. We weren't a horrible band. We were good.
At this point, we've been playing for a year or two.
Yeah, we were very locked in with the songs, and these were simple songs. Yes. These were not songs we were not prog guys.
We were the opposite of prog.
Yeah.
3.5 minutes, I was
pop.
done. Very short attention span.
And he couldn't even keep a beat, so...
It was such disappointment. Within 30 seconds, you and I were looking at each other
I don't even think we got through 2 songs.
No, but within 30 seconds, we were looking at each other just going,
how do we get this guy out of here?
Yeah, how do we end this? And I think we did 2 songs. And
we did the second song just out of pity.
It's true. If it had not taken him 40, because we knew it was going to take another 30 minutes just to disassemble everything.
And we'd have to talk to him.
Yeah, small talk, chit chat, worse.
Yeah,
thing.
So we'll give you a call.
Yeah,
we'll let you know.
So,
give me your email.
Son of a bitch.
Anyway, back to this band, Truly.
Yes, that did not have that problem.
No, they were amazing.
Very good drummer. Awesome.
Yeah, great. And they do sound like a combination of Screaming Trees, Nirvana, and Soundgarden.
Yeah.
I mean, it makes sense. I mean, he was never actually in Nirvana, but he definitely would have fit in
adjacent
with his guitar style and just that nasty ass tone that he got. I don't know what he was using, but I love the tone of his guitar.
You ever heard of a metal guitar? No, I'm not talking like dobro, but there's like electric guitars that are metal.
We talked about that last year. Or last week.
Last week, yeah. But we talk about the metal guitar though?
What the hell you say?
Or did I look that up?
No, we talked about it last week.
The horrible sound. Yeah. What was the band? I don't remember.
What was the band?
Yeah.
Shellac.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't remember shit from, that.
Yeah.
It's been a week.
We did a whole show on...
I know, but I can't remember the guitar. We actually talked about that. Okay, we did.
Steve Albini.
Yeah.
Who recorded Nirvana.
But I read right before that, I was doing my own research, and I read that. So I had it from 2 different places. I can't remember we talked about it. I knew I learned about it last week.
We did.
You dick!
And then you've got the amazing bass playing of Hiro Yamamoto. I always loved those albums prior to when Soundgarden got big. Always loved his bass playing. I like Ben Shepherd's bass playing too. I mean, Ben Shepherd basically wore his bass at his knees. I don't know how the guy played.
Like Chris Novoselic. It's already tall.
Yeah, very similar.
But it made it look especially
It was awkward, but cool at the
Cool
same
at the
time.
same time, yeah.
But give this band truly a spin. They have, like I said, they have 3 albums, and they're all fantastic. So go check that out. Okay, we're going to stay in Seattle. We've got a lot of Seattle bands. Go figure. I bet you didn't know there were so many grunge bands that you've never heard of, but we're still going. This is volume 6.
There was no vacant apartments anywhere around there at that time. All these bands.
Okay, so this band, probably the dumbest name for a band in the grunge scene that I've ever heard. And there's some
just
pretty
had
bad ones.
The Pink Band.
Yeah, Baker's Pink is bad. They weren't from Seattle, but still. I mean, how did they even come up with this? I don't know. It was formed in 91 by a member of Love Battery. We've played Love Battery on the show before. That's a good one.
Okay, yeah.
We played them on episode 143. That was part 4 of this series. So this guy leaves Love Battery and he says, I'm going to form a new band and I'm going to name them Alcohol Funny Car.
You know how they got that? It's that damn refrigerator magnets where there's a bunch of words at people's houses and they're magnets. And
they just pick them?
You arrange the letters into something funny and somebody else comes along and adds to it.
Maybe.
Yeah, it's like that.
Maybe. Alcohol Funny Car. Why? Why would you do that? But they've put out a couple albums.
Oh, I mean, that's what they burn. Funny cars, that's the fuel they use. So there's alcohol. Yeah,
okay. See, I needed you to...
It's methanol,
okay,
but methanol and alcohol are kind of the same
Okay,
thing.
so in a funny car is a
moonshine.
racing
It's a
car?
drag racer that has a fiberglass shell.
Okay,
that
see, there is a
mimics
reason
a real
to this.
car. Yeah, but it's still a dumb name.
Check out the big brain on
Robert.
You're a smart motherfucker. That's right.
Yeah, of course, their album cover had some like old car on it.
But we can understand where they got it from.
Okay, all right. Well, that helps.
See,
me.
I know things.
All right, Alcohol Funny Car. I'm just thinking of somebody driving drunk.
But that's what it sounds like. You're like, that's hilarious. It's a funny car.
So this band released an EP and 2 full-length albums, 93 to 96, right in the last bit of it. They did okay. They were compared more to the Minneapolis sound than they were the Seattle sound, even though they were from Seattle. So,
like Prince?
No, not like Prince, like Husker Du, Replacements, that sort of thing. And that I hear that a little bit. I still think of them as a grunge band. I mean, they came out of Seattle, but anyway, never really happened for them. They reformed during COVID time and put out a new single in 2020, but that's kind of all we have. But I think it's a pretty good band. This is from their 93 album, Time to Make the Donuts. There's an old reference.
I like that. Yeah, if you're over 50, you know what that is.
That's the name of the album, and I'm going to play a song called...
You have 3 types of glazed donuts. See, nobody's going to know what I'm talking about.
Oh, they will, because I'm going to throw it in right here.
It's one of their commercials where he was cross-dressing, trying to pretend he was somebody else. So
we know Dunkin' Donuts are always fresh and come in more varieties than supermarkets.
Excuse me.
But we like to make sure.
Do you have delicious chocolate frosted donuts like Dunkin' Donuts?
No.
Do you have 5 kinds of jelly donuts?
No. Ma'am.
Were these made fresh this morning?
No. Good. Dunkin' Donuts. Up to 52 varieties made fresh day and night. No supermarket can say that.
All right, well, the name of the song is Try to Understand. So try to understand what we just talked about.
Please.
Way held me propped it up.
yet again, kick ass, just rock. I mean, yeah, you throw it in the grunge category, but it's just good rock.
93. No reason that shouldn't have been
especially
huge.
that one. That one definitely would have blended.
Total radio song.
Yeah.
I mean, there were other bands that we mentioned, like The Bush, Silverchair.
Yeah.
There were other, like the second tier, third tier.
Just say Bush. Don't say the
Bush.
Yeah.
Good, baby. Very good.
That's a different thing.
La Bush.
Yeah.
I think they're French.
La Bouche. That was the disco band.
Yes. Yeah, great sounding band. Don't know why it didn't happen for them, but
I guess
the way it works.
We're starting to find out there was quite a few to choose from.
Probably more than everybody thought.
Part of the problem was there's only that many record guys out there and that many bands, and
still
that
they
much
got
money.
They got signed.
Yeah,
they released albums. It just it's the push to get them on to at that time radio and MTV. Especially MTV. That's what made the bands.
When did the Warped Tour start? That was late.
That was
late 90s.
Late 90s.
Okay.
Yeah,
but
it was Lollapalooza.
That's the one that everybody.
The touring version of that. They don't do that anymore. They just do it in Chicago now, but it used to be touring all across the country, and that was huge. And there were tons of other ones that came out of that as well, but yeah, that was the big one. Okay, we're going to stay in Seattle. Another Seattle band.
I don't have to pack my suitcase.
Yep, just put on your Doc Martens. Make sure you got your flannel with you. Okay, this band, I love this. When I first read their name, I was like, what are they going for here? And then I realized, it is a complete play on Mother Love Bone. This band, Daddy Hate Box.
I was going to say Daddy Hate Biscuit. We're close. We're both going down the same road.
Yeah, Mother Love Bone, Daddy Hate Box. That's pretty perfect.
That was good. Okay,
really good.
Of all the other crappy band names, this one,
yeah.
Golf clap. Very nice.
Very similar thing that Ugly Kid Joe did. If you remember, Ugly Kid Joe was a reference to Pretty Boy Floyd.
That's right.
So here's the same thing. Mother Love Bone, Daddy Hate Box.
I see your band name and one up you.
I raise you.
I raise you one,
yes.
sir.
This was just a side project for the drummer of Tad, who we've already talked about, and the vocalist for a band we've not played yet, but there's always
another episode.
There's always number 7.
Yeah.
Right? Part 7, we'll have the vocalist from Coffin Break. We'll hear a little Coffin Break.
We got like 2 or 3 more years of doing this. You guys better just buckle up.
So this was not a full-time band. They never really played many shows or toured, but they did put out an EP in 1990. So think about that. Mother Love Bone was a late 80s to 90 band. This group, Coffin Break and Tad, were around that scene and playing with those guys at the same time. Obviously, Mother Love Bone gave us Pearl Jam. So kind of cool. This is prior to the whole scene exploding. But this EP came out in 1990. It has a little bit of funkiness to it, which is different. There weren't a lot of the grunge bands that went into that territory, but this one does. So here's a song called Edge from their only thing that they put out. It's called Sugar Plows, an EP.
Gotta fuck away, but
beginning was ripped off, but other than that.
And where do you think that came from? I heard you doing it over the headphones.
I was singing along.
Nice.
That was a horrible version of that song that I just sang, so please disregard that. That is in no way attempt to be
Zeppelin
a cover.
from Captain Content.
I do not imply
the immigrant song
that I can sing like that. No, not at all.
This next song is a cover song. You know how you go to the Holiday Inn and you'll be seeing old-style top 40 bands like Jimmy D and the Spread Connection, or Cinnamon Lover perhaps, singing love ballads for the Philadelphias out at the Days Inn in Atlanta. So what can I say? It's all about the immigrant song.
Like 3 octaves below that is my sweet spot. But so, yeah, this song and the last song both had something I really like. It's those guitar fills that are kind of faint. They're kind of in the background, they're down in the mix, but they're just these weird fills that just give it a little edginess to it without having a lead just kind of hit you in the face.
The one thing I didn't say about the previous 2 songs was both of those bands, so Truly and Alcohol Funny Car, sounded to me like more commercial versions of Mudhoney.
More listenable, yeah. There was some Mudhoney that's like,
this band sounded very derivative of Mother Love Bone. It almost sounded like a funkier version of Mother Love Bone.
And that was a little more listenable, but still, I never got into them. I would go back.
I like them.
I go back and I listen to them.
Can we play Mother Love Bone, or are they too well known?
Let's try.
We've not delved into any Mother Love Bone, but
not right now. But I mean, next time we have a hankering for that.
Yeah, we played Malfunction, which was Andrew Wood's funkier band before Mother Love Bone,
right?
And that's kind of what this band sounds like. They sound like a mix of Malfunction
they're all
and
dead.
Mother Love Bone.
Are they all dead now?
They're all dead now.
They're all dead now.
Yeah, they're all dead.
All dead.
The only kind of cruise you're going to get is the Ghost Cruise for the grunge bands. The only way you'll get them.
No.
They could show up here in July.
We can invite them now.
In July,
we need to get on their schedule.
We will have our annual event.
Ghosts are busy. You got to book them early.
So we could get them back that way.
Okay.
That's the only time you're going to get a grunge reunion.
Let's do it.
We might do that. All right, I have one more for you.
All right.
Not a band from Seattle, but the singer answered an ad from a band in Vancouver who needed a singer. This guy's from Seattle. He goes to Vancouver and joins this band, and they become huge in Canada.
Oh, Canada, our home and native land. True patriot love and all thy sons command. With glowing hearts we see.
So I imagine traffic was pretty light leaving Seattle versus arriving to Seattle.
At that point in time, this is like 1991.
It's like going opposite of rush hour traffic. It's pretty sweet. You get the road to yourself.
This guy drives up. His name is Trevor Hurst. He drives up and he joins this band, Econoline Crush.
Oh, yes.
And they immediately
heard of them.
sign a deal with EMI Music Canada, another label we tried to get on, but then we realized we're not Canadian.
Nope. We did not have the credentials to be Canadian.
Could not get on EMI, and we could not get on Warner, but they loved us.
We had a tan, and we didn't wear toques.
They only played 26 shows by the time they got signed. I mean, can you imagine?
Bastards.
Assholes.
Jackass.
Achieved platinum status in 97 with their album The Devil You Know. They received 2 Juno nominations, which is like a Canadian Grammy. In 95 for an EP.
Mm-hmm.
And 98, they also, I believe, received received a Juno or got another nomination. I remember hearing this band on 99X when I first moved to Atlanta in 1996, and I thought the name was cool. Also, around that time, there was a announcement made of this band who were getting back together, a band from the 70s, and they got 2 of the original guys back, and they announced on an aircraft carrier that they are going to tour.
I thought it was a battleship. Was it an aircraft carrier?
We'll go with that.
Okay, I don't know. It was a ship. It was a big boat.
This band's name, I'm pretty sure, was Kiss. You had to wait till the very last song to get your Kiss connection with a K, and your dog's just licking his nuts. No bark, just licking your nuts.
Like, don't do it. Don't do it. Don't. Oh, you're just licking his nuts.
Oh, there we go. Yeah, buddy.
You're a little late. You're a little late. You need some mouthwash. Don't come over here after you lick that.
Into the mic at least, man. Come on. One more time. There we go.
Good job.
Ooh, that was loud, too. Good one.
Good job. All right, go away. I snort in your general direction.
Let me finish, please.
Hey, it's our turn.
I have the floor.
It's people time. Hey, it's people time, not dog time. Zip it. This is what I deal with all day.
Okay, so I bring up Kiss because they announced that one of their opening acts is a band called Econoline Crush. So when they go out in 97, when they go out in 97, Econoline Crush opens for Kiss. They also open for Foo Fighters. They also open for Green Day. Wow.
Sons of bitches.
Like, really?
Yeah.
Could you do any better in 1997?
And how in the hell are you not a household name?
Well, they are in Canada.
Well, I mean, here.
Canadians listening are like, yeah, we
all
already
12 of them
know this band. No, we do well in Canada.
That's
They're
right.
number three.
Number three. I forgot about that.
Australia still has you, Canada.
Are we making money from that yet? Number 3?
So much money.
Okay, good.
So many pesos. I believe that's what they use in Canada.
Exactly. The Canadian peso.
You dicks.
Yeah. It's worth like $2 American.
Yeah. So impressive.
We know a lot.
We are smart. Yeah, so that's who they toured with in 97. And then in 98, they released their second album and they go out with Kiss again in the States.
So jealous.
I didn't see them. Maybe I did. I actually don't remember who opened the first time I saw the reunion show. I think I was so amped up to see Kiss. I don't even have a clue who opened.
You were talking like Brandon when he met Rush.
I do remember I almost got in a wreck. I was so excited to get to the Coliseum that I wasn't paying attention, and I was just blasting music, and all my buddies were in the back.
Were you acting out Detroit Rock City?
Yeah, pretty much. And
the actual song where somebody dies going to a Kiss
my
show.
wheels were smoking. I had to slam on my brakes so hard from almost hitting this truck in front of me. And we were on the turnoff to get to the Coliseum. It was so close.
You lived a Kiss song.
I did. Yeah, totally.
Yeah, my version was Phil Collins' In the Air Tonight. I lived that and got arrested. You almost got killed living out a Kiss song. We're idiots, man.
Yeah, we were.
Such idiots.
We learned. We learned
no, we're
so
smart
much.
now. We know about Canada and all kinds of stuff.
Exactly. We know about the peso.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So this band does well, but just not in our country. They don't do well in our country, and I don't know why, really, because they kick ass. Now, are they grunge? That's the next thing you're going to ask me. Are they grunge?
Kevin, are they grunge?
Maybe.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe.
First album, I'm going to go there. That's where I'm going to put them. Yeah. Maybe they're more alternative, but they were heavy, and they had that kind of Seattle thing in the singer, so we're going to go with it.
Well, you know where they got their name from.
Econoline is a van, right?
You have spent quite a lot of time in one of those.
And I believe I had it on my amp at one point. I took off the Ampeg, remember that?
Yeah.
On my cabinet, and I put the Econoline.
We both, because there were 2 of them. I stole off another van.
Yeah.
Because our van was a club wagon, technically.
Yes.
But I like Econoline, and so I took them off a van that was parked. Anyway, 20 years ago. I do not do stuff like that now.
The statute of limitations.
The statute of limitations is expired on that. Thank God. And that was horrible, but I did it. And we had Econoline amps.
Yes.
For about 2 years. That was
people
awesome.
looked at us like we were idiots.
Many times for many reasons. Yes, and we ran with that shtick.
What kind of cabinet is that? It's Econoline.
And they would just look. Okay, yeah. We're sponsored by Ford.
And that's why we could have toured with the Flying Errands.
We would have been perfect, yeah.
Yes. All right, so back to this band, Econoline Crush, all that touring success that they had, but really nothing here in the States. They released 5 albums since 1995. They're still around. They put their latest album out last year in 2023. But only the singer is the guy that remains, the American. He's the only one that remains in the band.
He's got the work ethic. They have about the Canadians.
You dick!
Yeah, they have had 37 members in this band.
Okay, they're only outshined by Menudo.
Wow. Maybe they age out. Maybe he's like, you have to be 13.
Yeah, once you hit puberty.
Once you hit 14, you're done.
Yeah, if you're shaven, you're gone.
I 37 members in their band.
It's the singer then. That's the problem, because obviously.
It's not me, it's you.
Yeah, it's... Let's just not point fingers, but I'm pointing a finger.
Okay, maybe it's not you, it's me. I don't know. It's something like that.
It's him, yeah. Wow.
Yeah. So let's play from their 1995 album, Affliction. I'm going to call it grunge. and I'm going to put it on this episode. And
we'll let the listeners decide. They can call it what they want to.
Sure, but it's grunge. Here we go.
Those damn Canadians have great taste in music. I got to hand it to them. That and syrup. I mean, knock both of those out of the park. And heavy. And yeah, I got to call it grunge, but it's in the same category as White Zombie, Rob Zombie. Same time, you can't help but compare those two. Yeah. But that was off to the side. That wasn't your Seattle grunge. It was like a techno grunge. Mm-hmm. It was kind of its own little category.
Yeah, before Rob Zombie was doing his thing, yeah, White Zombie were, in-betweeners, like metal,
their
but
own little thing.
Grunge, but horror, like some punk.
Yeah, it wasn't as
didn't know where to put them.
Not on the. It wasn't as much on the horror scale when it was White Zombie. A little bit. Rob Zombie amped that up more and more as he went along.
Yeah, and he became much more electronic.
Yeah. But even back the 1965, that caught me. I remember. Was it 93?
93.
93 when that came out. Yeah, I remember watching that on MTV.
So this came out in 95. Upon reflection, maybe not exactly grunge. You're right. It does have a lot of zombie-esque qualities to it.
Damn, it's heavy and good.
It goes along with everything we've played. To your point, we have a stellar playlist tonight.
I can't wait to listen to this again.
Killer songs.
Like I said, I'll listen to it, pause it, dive into that band, go listen, 2 or 3 albums, and then come back to the next song and skip me, just skip past me.
Right. What about me?
No, you introduce the song.
Oh, okay,
I'm
good.
just the jackass.
Oh, okay, good. Well, that's what I got for you, jackass.
Thank you. I'm going to go outside and make friends with the guys working on the stretch limousine at 10 o'clock at night on a dark, dead-end street.
They even have a light? They got phones out there? What are they doing?
They got phones or flashlight.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, but they seem like my kind of people. We're going to be friends.
All right, man. Well, that's what I got. Next week, who knows where we're heading, but I just felt it was time for some grunge. Something about this time of year.
Starting to get a little grungy, kind of funky, almost
well, it's getting a little swampy, too.
Almost a little swampy,
A little swampy.
Today was pretty warm.
Yeah.
Pretty humid and warm.
See what happens.
It's getting close.
A little beachy. It's getting a little beachy time, too.
A lot of my friends are going to the beach right now.
Yeah. We have a little holiday coming up. So
yeah, big holiday.
We'll see what's going to happen next week. But that's what you got this week. And I was thinking, why? Why am I in this grunge mood other than all the things that you gave me as Captain Content? And I was thinking, you know what? In 1992, around this time, is when I went home, the only time in my college career when I went home for a summer. And with me, I had a bunch of tapes of Pearl Jam and Soundgarden and Mother Love Bone, and I was putting all these, kind of making my own mixtapes because all of us had different albums, and we would, hey, make a tape for me because that's what you did back then. You didn't all buy the same thing.
It was a music exchange program.
Yes, and that long ago. But that's what I was doing around this time, almost
32 years. Yeah. Is that right? Maths?
Yeah, well, it is.
Carry the 3.
It is.
Divide by 6. Yes, 32 years ago.
X over Y, yeah.
Yeah. Damn.
You're right. 32 years ago.
Old.
I never went home again after that.
You were doing Napster,
I remember having those tapes.
But analog. Like
analog Napster.
Analog Napster. You're like, here, I'm going to download this file. Here you go. Thank you.
Yeah, a file. What's a file?
Y'all sit around and play musical Go Fish. Do you have the album from 1978? Yeah, here it is. No, Go Fish.
Well, I remember my roommate, Joey All, he had Bad Motorfinger. He had 10. I didn't know either of those, but before we left.
Yeah. Everybody had it.
I dubbed it. I had it on cassette with me that summer. All right, man. Well, that's what I got.
Thanks.
Until next time. Later, people.